Hi, this is Lee Bortons, founder of Classical Conversations, and this is a series of videos discussing classical conversations in just a general way and some of the stories that I like sharing about how Classical Conversations was founded, as well as some of the purposes behind the things that we do. This video is going to be about our Essentials program. I have a previous video about the Challenge program and one about the Foundations program. The Challenge program was started first, and then the Foundations program was designed afterwards with our younger children to help them prepare to be better students in the Challenge program. But we still found we were lacking something. And we made up for that lack through what we call the Essentials program. And this is a program specifically for older elementary age children and middle school children around the ages of 9 to 12. And what we do in the Essentials program is we look at the essentials of language. In my original vision with Classical Conversations, I was hoping our families would study very many languages. But as you know, there's a joke that says, if you can speak 3 languages, you're called trilingual. If you can speak 2 languages, you're called bilingual. And if you speak 1 language, you're called American. And I found it really difficult to do multiple languages with the Americans that I was friends with and that were interested in Classical Conversations. And so we decided to go ahead and do 1 language really, really well that was foreign, and that was Latin, because Latin is a Romance language and therefore will help us with Spanish and Italian and Portuguese and the other related languages. But more importantly for us as English speakers, it helps us with our language. And so I'm sure that you'll appreciate it for the language that you speak. But it's really hard to study another language if you don't know your own mother tongue very well. And our children are children. Homeschooling is about the adults in the room being better teachers to their children. And so we developed the Essentials program where we looked at the very specific foundations of how actually all of language is put together, and then specifically in an English context, so that the parents in our homeschooling program would understand how to teach English better. And in the process of teaching English better, you also learn how to study foreign languages better. And so we have our older elementary students, so again, that 9 to 13, 14-year-old students, working on diagramming sentences, identifying types of sentences, punctuation, spelling, some of the general things that you expect any language art program to have. But what we were able to do was break it down to the fundamental level of parts of grammar that all languages have. And so this is why it's called the Essentials program, because it's the essentials of language. And so what this did is gave our younger foundation students, who are mostly just doing memory work and activities that young children would like, but aren't really ready to write essays and do research. They're too young to do high school projects. So instead of having those middle school years as a kind of a holding ground, which happens a lot in American academics, we gave our children something that they intentionally are able and have the experience to do, and that is to use language well. And so instead of working on paragraphs, they work on sentences, and many, many sentences, and trying to understand just the sentence itself as its own creature, so that eventually they can move into paragraphs and then essays and then longer research papers. And so we feel like this emphasis on single sentences as well as the essentials of language is just a really good bridge to studying any other thing that you would like to study, any other subject, because all subjects are studied well by breaking them into their parts and getting to know the foundations or the essentials of that subject well. Hence, you also might be able to see why we call things what we do: the Foundations program, the Essentials program, and our Challenge program. So the Essentials program, one kind of word of caution: don't push your little guys into it too quickly. Let your younger children, let your 7, 8-year-olds work just on playing and obeying and some phonics and some math and memory work. Let them become 9, 10 years old before you give them this more intense activity.